Okay, we're ready to take this Delrin tenon down to the right size. By the way, the reason I'm including this, you've seen this cutter in action in a previous set of videos, is if I start putting a number of these sets out there, I don't want them to start crisscross referencing each other for these different steps. It's much easier when looking through like a set of volumes that you can just skip forward and keep your place, so to speak, than constantly have to jump back to something that was put out earlier, and then it breaks the flow. So even though you've seen this before, I'm including it now. If you don't want to see it, of course, you just click the next segment. So anyhow, this is the piece of Delrin that's threaded. It's been screwed into a length of vulcanite rod for clamping and stability. We don't have to take off very much. You might remember we left off at using the J chucking reamer, which is 277, and sure enough, I've got a 276 or 7, I'm sorry, a pin gauge here, and it will fit with a bit of pressure. So this is like dead on, and we will use that number to adjust this thing. Now this doesn't have like a digital readout or something like the sophisticated lathes do. You have to do the math and turn some screws here, but you don't need to watch that being done. Just know that that's what happens. And other than that, there's not too much to it. I think when I'm done cutting it, I might funnel the end of this, which can be done much more neatly when it's mounted on a press than doing it by hand. So with no further ado, let's give it a shot. And that should be pretty close. Let me measure it and see. Yeah, we could come down just a touch more. Always better to crawl up on the target than to overshoot it, of course. I'm going to slow it down. I think I get a little bit better finish on Delrin when I go a notch slower in speed. All right. Bullseye. It's not even necessary to test fit these things. I could by swinging the table out, but I've determined over lots of uses of this, as long as you're measuring accurately and you use the same measuring tools on all the different variables, you get a reliable result so that you don't even really need to test fit. So that's it. I'm going to cut the length of this off flush and square on the end, and then dish it out a little bit with a special tool, and that's kind of fun because it looks so neat. It's easier than nicer than what you can do by hand anyway. Okay, I've marked the length that we want, which is only slightly. We don't have to take off very much material. I'm going to use the trimming cutter to actually reduce the overall length of this by moving the blade up against the guidepost in the center, and then it becomes effectively a length trimming tool. Okay, and you slow the speed down so that you don't eat away more than you think you're going to. It's very touch sensitive at those high speeds for this operation, so I slow it way down. Okay, and now I'm going to change out this tool. Might as well leave the camera on, let you see how this works. This is all mounted in a collet, not a chuck, which is common in the industry but not common in the home shops so much. But it gives you something that's far more stable and reliable and accurate. That this just is a big inch diameter slug of metal that fits into a tightening ring, so that there's really no chuck. And then this has been cut the same size, and it's a really accurate slip fit up there. And you tighten a collet with a pair of these wrenches. It doesn't take much, just a little touch will snug it right up. And then you can re-find your center at any time. Now that's the same diameter as the post of the cutter. So we can now turn the XY table control wheels and get right back where we were with no drama whatsoever. And that's what we want, because what we're going to be doing is taking one of these tools, a chamfering tool, and cutting a cone in the end of the tenon. There we have it. Get the tape off of there. All right. And I'm not sure how much you can see on the camera, but I'm hoping enough. But that is it. We're almost done with this. We're going to glue it up here in just a minute. Wait 24 hours for it to cure. And then be very nearly done at that point. Alrighty.